Dang, I forgot to erase the whiteboard. We're moving on to the last thing we're learning before the test. What? Test is next Tuesday. I said that yesterday. Oh. But we're moving on to the last thing. We're looking at equations and determining what kind of equation there are. Linear, quadratic, or none of those choices. And this last thing is if I'm given a bunch of data points, I want to see if I can come up with a quadratic equation for it. So I've given you the steps to finding it on a calculator. If you wanted to use Desmos, remember there's the link in the announcements to use that instead. So on number 1, it tells me NASA is creating a weightless environment by flying a plane in parabolic path. Then it gives us the height and the time in the chart. And I did not close off this parenthesis. It's really going to bother me. And then it tells us when they start to experience the weightless environment, and we have to write an equation and evaluate the equation once we write it. So what I'm going to do here is, first, I'm going to take a look at these numbers. How are these changing from 26,900 to 29,000? No. Close, but not quite. No. It's adding 2,125. Okay? How do I go from 3,600 to 29,000, or 29,025 to 30,600? How do I go from this number to that number? Adding how much? No. 1,575. Okay? How do I go from 30,600 to 31,625? Mercedes, can you close the door? Okay? Same thing, or I want to find the difference between 31,625 and 32,100. Okay, from 32,100 to 32,025. This one is subtracting. 75. And then over here. What? No, this one's 625. Oh, and this one should have been 475. Okay. So are these the same number? No. So is this linear? No. So what I'm going to do is I missed the plus sign. I'm going to go look at my differences again, and I'm going to see how they're changing. So to go from 2,125 to 1,575. I'm subtracting 550. To go from 1575 to 1025, I'm subtracting 550. Subtracting 550. Subtracting 550. Subtracting 550. So notice how it took 2 times to get it to be right? This means it's quadratic. do now that I know it's quadratic for sure, is I'm going to take my data points and I'm going to go to stat. This is kind of like what we did back in chapter 1. I'm going to go edit. And mine's missing L1. Let me reset it. Okay. I'm going to go to stat. I'm going to go edit. If there's numbers there, I'm going to clear them out. Otherwise, time is L1, height is L2. So I'm going to plug those in. Is that better? Okay, once I get those points in, I'm going to go second mode to go back home. Then I press stat again. This time I'm going to calc, and instead of going for a linear regression, because it's not linear, I told you it's quadratic, what choice should I pick? 5, I want the quadratic regression. So I go down to calculate, and I press enter. Okay, so it gives me a bunch of numbers. What do I do with these? Plug it in, so tell me what to write. Y equals okay, so that's my equation. Questions on how I got the equation from this screen? The question also asked me to figure out how high the plane is at 20.8 seconds. So I'm going to plug that in for x. Okay, so I have that there. I'm going to type that in. Yeah. Make sure when I use the negative out front, it's the white negative, because the calculator cannot tell the difference between negative and subtract. When I get 30,800.96. And this is measured in, no, 20.8 was the seconds. So this one is, no, seconds is time. The height, so height was measured in feet. Questions here.